your kidneys are doing the brunt of the work. And one of the things many people are going to find is they're going to have some kidney pain while fasting. Right now, it's often not obvious because kidney pain is often what's called referred pain, which means although your kidneys are here, the pain might be above, that's above or below, or to one side or the other. The pain won't necessarily be localized at the kidneys, even though it's being caused by the kidneys. It's called referred pain, so you feel it somewhere else. But the kidneys are doing a lot of work because the bulk of the toxic stuff being eliminated from your body is being eliminated by the kidneys. Okay? Remember, we have 5 primary channels of elimination. We also eliminate through the colon. Most of you aren't doing much with that channel right now, right? Although stuff may be collecting there, it's not actually being eliminated from the organism yet. It will be at some point if it hasn't been. But there's not so much of that. Mostly what's happening through the colon is the solid food waste. So it's what the body doesn't want from what we eat. Okay? Most of what's in the bloodstream is going to be eliminated through the kidneys themselves. In fact, when we take in toxic substances like alcohol, okay, and alcohol is a cellular poison. So it kills human cells on contact. Is a little bit of that good for you? No, of course not. There's no amount of that that's good for you. But if you insist on consuming it, what happens when you drink alcohol is your body sends it to your liver, whose job it is to metabolize fats and to metabolize poisons. So your liver breaks down alcohol to the extent it's able to, which is why people who drink a lot wind up with liver problems, because the liver becomes overwhelmed by the job of breaking down all the alcohol. Now, why do you think our livers can't necessarily break down any poison? There are many man-made poisons they have a very difficult time with. Why do you think our livers can break down alcohol? Because we're fruit eaters, and fruit ferments in nature. Fermentation is the creation of alcohol. So our livers have to be able to process some alcohol, otherwise we'd be in serious trouble. But our livers were intended to be able to process minute quantities of alcohol. The quantities of alcohol that you might encounter in nature by biting into something that's fermented and then spitting the rest out. Right? Most of us aren't going to consume a lot of alcohol in nature. So the kidneys, the liver quickly becomes overwhelmed. What do you think happens to the toxic material once the liver has done whatever it's able to do, whether it's succeeded in metabolizing it or not? What happens to that substance after the liver's done its job? Eliminated where? How? Through the kidneys. Exactly. Right? And you want to be really clear about this. Again, I don't know if there's anyone here of this persuasion, but just yesterday I responded to a couple of comments from people in one of my videos talking about electrolyte imbalances while fasting. And 2 people said, oh, that's easy to avoid electrolyte imbalances. Just drink your pee. Right? There are people who think this is a good idea. There are people who believe that your body produces urine to heal you. And that's what it's for. And you know what's amazing to me is that the science on how the body works, how the kidneys work in particular, has been well understood for over 100 years. It's not like this is a question. I mean, sometimes scientists are wrong. Well, we discover science was wrong about something, but this is pretty clearly understood. Urine's been studied extensively and can contain over 300 different chemical compounds, including hundreds of toxic substances. Okay, household cleaning products, personal care products, pesticides, all wind up in your urine. Okay, because most of the toxins from the bloodstream are eliminated through the kidneys. And yet these people are saying, no, it's there to heal you. It's absurd. You want to be really clear about this. If anyone tries to convince you to drink your pee, that makes no sense whatsoever. There's a very good reason your body produces it. If you want to talk about that another time, if anyone is still not sure about this, I've heard all of the support, all the reasons people give, all the beliefs about this. I'd be happy to respond to. I don't want to take more time with that now if we don't need to, but understand that your kidneys are doing the bulk of the work of detoxification. We also eliminate through the mucous membranes. Anybody wind up with a bunch of eye goop or a bunch of mucus from their nose or throat? Sometimes from the vagina, even the anus, there'll be mucus and mucoid products. But that's not how we eliminate most of the toxins in the body. Some, remember, we make mucus to encapsulate stuff the body doesn't want to get rid of it. But that's not where most of the toxins are being eliminated from the body. Skin, same thing, okay? We eliminate through the skin. There are cases where the body's going to eliminate through the skin because it needs to, but it's not where the bulk of toxins are eliminated from the body. The bulk happens through the kidneys. You want to be clear about that, okay? So the kidneys are going to do a lot of work. Now, they're going to suffer if you drink too much water. You're going to overwhelm them, and that can also be painful. And they're going to suffer if you don't drink enough water. That's also going to be painful, because now they've got very concentrated garbage they're trying to get rid of. And so our job is to try to find that sweet spot where you're getting the water you need, not too much and not too little, okay? It's not always easy to do. Yeah?
And we know that by the urine? Do we know that by being able to track that or no?
Well, we know if you're getting enough water by tracking your vital signs, your spread, pulse, and temperature. How those things interact tell me whether you've drunk enough water or not. Since we're talking about urine, you know, there are people that say that if your urine is clear, it means you're hydrated, okay? This is simply not true. Would you hand me that bottle behind you? Can you reach it? Yeah. Thank you. If you drink this liter, now remember, there's a pace at which your kidneys can filter water, right? Theoretically, up to 1 liter per hour, but I've seen people get in trouble trying to get close to that. So this is why I tell you no more than half a liter per hour, 1 large glass per hour, keeps you safe if you sip it slowly over the course of the hour. It's important because it's the pace, not just the quantity, that we're concerned about, okay? But let's say I drank this whole liter right now all at once over the course of a minute or two, okay? Because let's say it takes me 2 minutes to drink this. The pace of that is 30 liters per hour. 1 liter in 2 minutes is 30 liters per hour. You with me? Mm-hmm. My kidneys, theoretically, if they're fully functioning and healthy, can process a maximum of 1 liter per hour. So I'm dramatically exceeding their ability to process that. What does that mean? It means the water goes into the bladder and takes electrolytes with it. So A, it's harmful because you're losing electrolytes. But B, it means the water's not getting into your body. Drinking fast doesn't help you because the water doesn't get into your body. So if you want clear urine, drink the water really fast. It's going to go right through, you're going to pee it right back out quickly. Your urine will be clear because it's the same water. You could probably just capture it in the bottle and drink it again. It's just water. Okay? If you drink it fast enough, it's pretty much just water. Okay? Thank you.
So in that
Right.
case, you can't drink your urine.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah. Don't do that. Don't do that. Okay, people also think that as long as they're producing urine, it means they're hydrated. Is this true? Absolutely not. Absolutely not true. You can be severely dehydrated and still produce urine. In fact, you have to produce urine. If you're not producing urine, you're in deep trouble. Okay? Why must you produce urine? Because your body has to filter the blood, the garbage out of the bloodstream all the time. And everything leaves your body through the kidneys on water. Okay, in water. So it has to be making urine. Because if there's no urine, if it can't make any urine, nothing's able to leave your bloodstream. Does this make sense? Okay, so even if you're super dehydrated, your body's still going to make urine. It's going to be concentrated and dark. If your urine's dark, it probably means you're dehydrated. Okay? Doesn't necessarily mean you're dehydrated because it's really about the concentration of solids to water. So if you're detoxing heavily, your urine will be more concentrated even if you're not dehydrated. But generally speaking, if the urine's very dark, you're probably not getting enough water. Okay?
So why do you ask us daily if we had a pee during the night? While at home I wouldn't pee during the night.
Yeah.
What
But you do here.
About that? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so because it helps me understand what's happening. I mean, my job is to understand as well as possible what's happening in your body to make sure you're safe and to help you understand what's going on. Okay? So, anybody happen to have a plastic bag on them? Imagine why you would, but Is that trash can empty? Do me a favor and hand me that. Can you
They're
reach
really
that?
empty, but.
That's okay,
almost.
that doesn't matter. Thank you. All right. Okay, so here's a plastic bag. Your bladder is a bag. Okay? Now, that's pretty full of air, right? Is it still full of air? No. How many ladies here have children? Okay. When you were pregnant, did you have to get up and pee a lot at night?
20 times, yeah.
You know why? It's because the weight of the baby was sitting on your bladder. Now it looks like it's full again, doesn't it? It's not. I let a lot of air out, but it looks like it's full. And there's a sensor in the bladder that tells you when it's about 70% full, you need to pee. If you've got enough mass sitting on your bladder, you're going to get the message to pee when your bladder's 25 or 30% full. Okay? So this helps me understand what's happening in your colon.
Ah.
Because if you're peeing multiple times per night, you're rehydrating waste in your digestive tract. That's why you have to pee. If you showed up here and didn't have to pee and then you do it at night while you're fasting. We had a young woman who never woke up to pee. She was 25. Most people that age don't wake up to pee at night. She never did. At the end of her fast, she was waking up 9, 10 times per night to pee. That's because this was going on. Okay? We can let more air out. Doesn't matter. Okay? Now it's even emptier. Now it looks full. Okay? Your body's going to tell you, time to empty your bladder. It's going to wake you up to pee if it's full enough. And that's what's going on. Okay? That's why we do that. All right? Any other questions around that? Yeah.
If you're hydrating old material,
Uh-huh.
you're peeing more at night?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not that you have more pee. It's that you're peeing more. When we were in the U.S., I don't know where to get them here. I haven't found them yet. Maybe somewhere in San Jose. We're in the U.S., we could easily go to a medical supply place and buy what's called a urine hat. Looks like a cowboy hat made of translucent plastic. Except, instead of going on your head, what happens is you flip it over and it sits on the toilet bowl. The brim sits on the bowl of the toilet. The part that would go over the head goes inside, and it's calibrated. Because it's easy for guys to pee into a bottle. It's not quite as easy for women. This makes it easy for anyone to capture anyone's pee. So we can actually see the volume. So I'd have people telling me, I'm peeing 5 times a night. I'm saying, does it feel like a lot? Yeah, it feels like a full amount. So we'd put one of these in their toilet, and then I'd ask them to keep track of how many times they peed, and I'd say, okay, look, you've got 1.5 liters, and you peed 5 times. That's much less than you would normally have a full bladder's worth. Okay? So we can actually calculate what percentage of your bladder was full, how full your bladder was. That's what's happening. We can see this over and over again. All right? So you're peeing more often, but it's much less than it normally would be. Okay? Now, believe it or not, I mean, even if you've woken up every night of your life to pee, once you get your body cleared out, it won't happen anymore. Okay? The only time I ever wake up to pee is if I eat or drink late at night. Other than that, I sleep through the night, every night. Yeah.
So if, for example, someone pees twice a night throughout the whole fast, for let's say 30 days,
Right.
it means that the load of hard material does not getting heavier and heavier?
I don't know. Could mean that. It could also mean that the way it may be that your physiology is different. Your body is longer. It may affect someone who's shorter more than it affects someone. I mean, I don't know. How much mass is actually sitting on the bladder may depend on where the colon is relative to the bladder, where the small intestines are relative to the bladder. So it might depend on the architecture of your system. Each one's a little different. How tall are you? 192? 190. So he's around 6'3" or so. for the Americans. You know, if someone else is 5 feet tall, it may well be they're gonna be much more affected by this. I don't know if that's true, but it occurs to me that it could affect. And it's not just that. I mean, each of us has a slightly different placement, right? So for one person, the transverse colon might run right across the belly button height, and for someone else, it might be a little higher or lower. It might vary how it affects you based on where this is happening. Okay? One more thing, by the way, you know, people often say, no, but I think I'm just peeing so often because I'm drinking much more than usual. But think about that, okay? I get most of you are drinking much more than usual. Probably not more than you need to drink, but probably more than you have been drinking. But if you go to bed and you wake up at midnight and you empty your bladder, and the last time you drank anything or drank any significant amount was 6 hours earlier, and you don't drink anything when you wake up, or not much, how do you fill your bladder again after that? And how do you fill it 5 more times? Or, I don't see him here, we have somebody here that was peeing 14 times a night. How is it possible to fill your bladder 5, 6, 10, 15 times if you're not consuming anything? It's not. You can't do that, okay? It's happening because each time you pee, you're not coming close to peeing away a full bladder's worth. It's a fraction, 20, 25, maybe 30% at most for most people.